Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Season 2 of the North American Challenger League. I am Reed Rapid Belton, and I'll be joining myself here for tonight's games, and along with all of you fine people. So it's nice to have you guys here. This is the last day of Season 2 of NACL, and it's very befitting because the S2 makes a heart. Because we love you guys, and it's been a great season. It's been a long season, but it's nice to come into our last day with a pretty good game to start things out. Let's just put it that way. We're going to have a rematch, actually, of a game a couple days ago going into this season, or at least the latter half of the season, after Cognitive disbanded and was reborn as Ziploc's Doges. They came out with an undefeated record, 1-0 versus 7 Wars Leon Gaming, after one of the most epic games I've seen the entire season. Well, the game after that, they played Curse Academy, who actually gave them their first loss of NACL. Coming into today, they face off against Curse Academy once again. We'll have to see if they can maybe even the score just a little bit. So let's hop into champion picks and bans for our first game of the night. Ziploc's Doges, you can see them on the right-hand side of your screen, and no questions asked, they're going to go straight for that Teemo. Of course, first pick here for Curse Academy is the quite legitimate Lulu pick for Duosec. You really can't let that go away. Plus, it's the picks and bans phase, so you have to grab picks away there on Lulu. So she's going to start that one off for Curse Academy, but with a 15-15 Teemo score yesterday, no questions asked. It's going to be a Teemo for EGAD here, or just a Teemo in general. Don't know where that's going, but let's just say EGAD's support Teemo yesterday was somewhat successful, as much as it pains me to say that about Teemo at all. But Leona locked in means that we actually could possibly see something other than support Teemo. And while EGAD is down there in the support area, not sure if they'll give that Teemo to Studio, or could we see the fabulous Nintendo X Jungle Leona? I don't know. The success rate for that is somewhat low. Let's put it that way. So we'll have to see what goes on there. We've got picks continuing for Curse Academy as they grab the Jungle Kha'Zix. I was pretty sure after IAM Katowice that after Insect played that there would never be another Jungle Kha'Zix in the entire world. However, it appears to have made it through the ban phase, and that means that it will be picked up by Curse Academy. The only other question is, what will be the jungle counter coming out here from ZD, from Ziploc's Doges? The irony of the situation is that unfortunately Ziploc cannot be here, and so you will see the coach, or I want to say manager, of Cloud9 HyperX Tempest Knigget joining us for tonight's games. And that is why, of course, you see some relatively interesting bans out there, just because they did have him as a non-rostered sub on Ziploc's Doges. But we got locking on the Pantheon. All right, that's actually kind of interesting to me, because Kha'Zix is so good now that Pat would choose a Kha'Zix over his trademark Pantheon. If you guys have ever wanted to learn how to play Pantheon jungle, you just search for like the first 3 or 4 weeks of NACL VODs and find a Curse Academy game where Pat is playing Pantheon. We actually called it Patteon for a long... No, just kidding, we never called it that. But I would have if I had thought of it at the time, so... Just saying, he's ridiculously good at that champion and actually gave it away here. So is this the pick that undoes everything for Curse Academy? And I believe that going into tonight's games, keep in mind, because the Cognitive Gaming roster was so... it disbanded, I think, not once but twice, and had the lowest ranking in NACL. There's no chance for it to make it to the playoffs, so for all intents and purposes, Ziploc's Doges have a somewhat uphill climb. And so for all intents and purposes, this is somewhat of a show match, as I don't think it will dethrone Curse Academy, even if by some horrific fluke, EGAD support Teemo here in NACL. But with our champions finally locked in, it is a last pick Ziggs here to go up against Duosec Lulu. And you know, there's a champion up in that top lane that I feel like may get some more play here in a little bit. And that is, of course, Rux's Akali. So it's going to be a very, very assassin-based top-end jungle, but the more damage you build there, the more the more effective you can be. And you say, but Rapid, if you build damage, then you'll just blow up when you jump into the fight, unless you have an AP Lulu that just so happens to give you thousands of hit points every time she uses that giant growth. So there's a lot on the line here for Curse Academy, but probably even more on the line for Ziploc's Doges, because, I don't know, DJ Doge running everything tonight means that there's... You got to represent the Doge power. Plus, as our sub emote would indicate, we are a big fan of the Doge as well. If you guys want to be fans along with us, of course, you can hit the subscribe button right down below the stream. You can also check out any of the other icons right down below the screen, which will lead you to our fabulous sponsors, which are included but not limited to Loot Crate, where for $13.37 a month, you can have a crate of loot shipped straight to your door. I think EGAD was like watching an unboxing video of that today and showing all kinds of like the random cool stuff in there, and he thought it was pretty legit. So if you guys would like to check it out, head over to lootcrate.com or just click the Loot Crate right down below the screen. You can also head over to lolclass.com by clicking the lolclass link right down below there and sign up for a very affordable lesson with some of your favorite LCS and Challenger pros. It's actually pretty cheap, and you actually get all your questions answered. You get to know the ins and outs of some of their favorite champions and how to play them better. So if you want to level up your game, head over to lolclass.com. You can also click on the Phoenix to head over to phoenixcollection.com, where you can check out, you don't even have to buy them. They let you look at them for free. Some of the best mice, keyboards, mouse pads, and headsets out there on the market. So definitely give them a check out, and stay tuned. Over the break, you'll be hearing the dulcet tones of Monster Cat, who have gladly lent us their music rights to play for your listening enjoyment. So we're going to throw it on to a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, it's Ziploc's female Doges taking on Curse Academy when the North American Challenger League continues right after this.
Sunlight is not enough. We could burn like a flame through the atmosphere. Yeah. Starlight, it's calling us. Leave the ghosts of our past in the stratosphere. Oh yeah, yeah, it's calling us. It's calling us.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Season 2 of the North American Challenger League. We are here in Week 5, Day number 5, for the last day of the regular season. We're going to start things off with Curse Academy, team in the blue, facing off against Ziploc's Doges. And unfortunately, Ziploc cannot be here today, so instead we have subbing in the jungle. It's Cloud9 HyperX Tempest manager, Knigget. So it's nice to have that guy out here. And while we did kind of mix things up as far as like the champions are concerned, it's nice to have at least some presence out there in the jungle. And what's interesting to me is the somewhat non-standard team composition chosen here by ZD. You might notice EGAD's support Teemo once again. Not sure if that's necessarily going to be run as a support, but I'm still looking to see what that bottom lane is because there's a Katarina in here, and I'm guessing that's like top lane Katarina, maybe like the old Void tank Katarina, but it's Katarina versus Akali in the Battle of the Ninjas up top lane. All right, Katarina's not a ninja, but you get the idea. Resourceless, blade-throwing, killing champion things. Yeah. All right, and then you have the Jungle Pantheon, which I feel is probably going in the jungle. I'm not going to call anything just yet because this game could possibly turn out to be one of the more non-standard ones. Let's just put it that way. But all right, we got Curse Academy, and they actually have a pretty standard lineup, with the exception of maybe an Akali, which is an interesting pick, but actually something that we've seen do very well in the hands of the Masters, like Westrice, who I believe did bring it out once and was very successful on that. So we also have that Kha'Zix jungle is very popularized once people realize that, hey, you got 3 charges of 40% damage reduction. Gives you some pretty good ganks out there on Kha'Zix, so that is going to be their jungler. Mid laner, of course, is mid lane Lulu, and of course the duo lane of Mashmi and K1 Pro. He came in here about a week ago, subbing in for Curse Academy. Have been through quite a few supports. I believe they had Glebe Larbu for a while, and then they went to Tatsulo. They had Yuno there for a while with Fabi, and now we're here with K1 Pro. And on his Annie, I really like that champion on him. Annie and Leona both, he just really thrives on those big AoE stun bots. And I'm just saying, they've been looking really, really good. And he actually did scout out this, maybe not invade, but at least scout out the presence that Ziploc's Doges were exerting there in near their red buff. The problem with level 1s right now is that trinkets don't actually activate until 2 minutes into the game. So if you want to throw down an early ward, it's actually going to have to be a real ward, which are actually a lot scarcer nowadays because junglers actually want to start with a gold generation item or like a Doran's blade or a Doran's shield rather. Man, the Doran's blade start for supports. I don't know about that, but you'll notice the Targons, not targets, but the relic shield on Knigget, so that's going to mean that it's kind of going to isolate him as a support player. Now, if you're looking for a support player at Curse Academy, you might have to look pretty hard there because it is a Doran's ring start for K1 Pro's Annie. So looking to go all aggressive very, very early on in Studio. Starting to drop a little bit low. The great thing about Akali is that people don't really know is that she has a lot of early game sustain just off of that passive spell vamp. It's actually a lot better than you would necessarily think. So as long as she's active, spamming out those spells, she actually does get back up there in lane, or in health rather, while she's in lane. So looking to see if Studio can both get this wave pushing and make sure to put on that early pressure, which is so good at keeping Akali off you from going for those big, super aggressive trades. Mid lane, of course, is going to be probably the rougher lane. I feel like anything that lanes against a mid lane Lulu is just kind of in it for a bad time. But at the same time, yeah, you can see already the legend almost going down there. Where is the help picks? Not enough cooldowns to get off 2 glitter lances, and it would appear as if the legend survives to live another day. Legend, of course, being Cube. So now we've got Pantheon gank in there. We need one more auto attack into Spear, and where's the flash for it? And there it is, first blood. Taken down by Pantheon. So it's the power, man. That's why we see a lot of Pantheon jungle bans, and kind of the same thing for Kha'Zix, but we haven't actually seen Kha'Zix really anywhere yet. So still having yet to capitalize on things the same way that we see out of the jungle Pantheon there for Ziploc's Doges. I'm just saying it's working out pretty well, and when I came into this game, I did not know what to expect from everyone, but I did know to expect the jungle Teemo, or not the jungle Teemo, support Teemo. After an incredibly large performance yesterday from EGAD, I don't know. He said that if he wins this game with support Teemo, he's changing his name to EGOD, and I told him that was completely and totally warranted. However, probably not going to be just buying that RP just yet, because you actually have to get through this game. And now Zenith Blade will go in onto K1 Pro. They drop the stun on there, but immediately that just sets up Bashmi to go all in on EGAT. The blind is cool, but probably not super effective at keeping him in lane alive. And there is a little bit of a pause here. We'll have to see who's having some issues as we get back through everything, get everybody back in the game, and see what's going on. But at least for now, it is nice to see that, I don't know, Teemo is dying. It's always a good step. And Jungle Pantheon having a really good presence there versus Curse Academy, who will need to maybe play things a little bit more carefully. So, still looking for, I guess, really the real big roam. We haven't seen anything from Kha'Zix at all, and we should actually be unpausing here in just a second as everybody fixes everything that they're doing. So I'm actually a pretty big fan of this because we get, like I said, Teemo dying, always a good thing, something I'm very fond of, but also Curse Academy, like they picked a try-hard team comp. They're going in on this, and we'll have to see how quickly they can maybe either end this game or put themselves into a position where Ziploc Stoges can possibly pull a little bit of a comeback. For all the analysis and the research I do on like teams and players and strats and metas and everything, you don't really see the support Teemo coming. You don't really expect its success. So consequently, when it does anything, you're just like, oh my gosh, that was a support Teemo that just got a triple kill. And you just kind of scratch your head a little bit and you're like, huh, how does that happen? And if you're looking to me for answers, you're probably not going to find them. Probably not going to find them anywhere this side of a Mobile Fire guide. So, I don't know. You need to make sure to keep an eye on that bottom lane, because EGAD will, of course, be making the big plays. Just going to take a little bit of a breather back in base while he, refreshes his playbook, writes some new notes, and maybe comes down back to bottom lane with a renewed stride in his step. It's like cut 2, 3, 4, 5, because he's just that much more excited. I am, of course, joined by only me here up today, so if you guys are enjoying the solo cast, then that's super great. I'm very, very happy for you, but if you're not, then, I don't know, I'll compensate you. I tell you what, as a reward for sticking through a solo cast of today's games, you guys will get to follow me on Twitter after the game at Rapid Casting. I feel like that's probably just going to make everybody's day a lot better, but mostly, I don't know. This Pantheon not going to make anybody's day a lot better. There's the Shroud from Rux, and with Pat coming in behind, I'm pretty sure that Pat does not want to trade this out. Resets are really going to turn this back in there, and you probably don't want to go in through that. There's actually the all-in, and now, wait, what? Oh my gosh, Pat does 1 million damage, and was able to do successfully 2 million damage to both Studio, and unfortunately, Jungle Pantheon's block only blocks auto attacks. It does not block Taste Their Fear, which was able to get that nice execute damage, and holy cow, this is a relatively interesting start to an equally interesting game. We've got kills in the top lane going down, and as far as the global map pressure is concerned, 3-1. In favor of Curse Academy. Now, they've also built up a pretty strong wave down in the bottom lane. Are they going to look to put some pressure on that turret, maybe a little bit early on. Bottom lane turrets, of course, do not have that champion auto attack damage reduction buff that top lane turrets have until 8 minutes. So it's going to help maybe push a little bit more, but especially when you see teams go for lane swaps, they always have that in mind. And we'll either call a jungler to 3-man push the turrets, or just pick a champion like Jinx or maybe Caitlyn, both of whom are really, really good taking down turrets early. So for right now, we did talk about the pressure being exerted in the bottom lane. You've got Mashmi in there. He's playing Ezreal, and I feel like Ezreal probably doesn't get a lot of notoriety. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're playing Ezreal." You know, it's kind of that. You pick it because he's safe, and he kind of automatically loses his lane, but he actually does an okay job later on. Is very, very safe, like I said, and sometimes you really need that against super hardcore dive comps or crazy stuff like that. I feel like I keep passing off to the co-caster, then I'm just like, wait, the co-caster's me. And I'm just like, okay, so I should answer my own question. At that point, it just starts looking ridiculous. So I'm trying to avoid that and trying to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. But the game actually hasn't been quite as action-packed as I would have expected. If you guys remember yesterday's game featuring Ziploc Stoges, I believe we had like 7 kills in 5 minutes. It was somewhat ridiculous, but man, Ruck's really putting on the pain top lane versus Studio, who's actually thinking about heading all the way back to base after just a little bit of burst damage. For now, another wave being built up in the bottom lane. You can really see Egad. I guess he's playing AD carry Teemo. He's gone ahead and picked up a Ruby Crystal, and that probably signals to me that he's still playing AP Teemo, but as an AD carry role. And I think that's actually, oh my god, all right, Cube's the legend. Well, maybe we'll be singing like eulogies instead of legends, but either way, it does go down off of a nice dive coming in there from Pat. So what I was talking about in the bottom lane is the AP Teemo in the AD carry slot. Actually, Southeast Asian teams figured out not a long time ago, maybe a few months ago, that you could actually run AP carries in the bottom lane as long as they were auto attack based. They tried Kale a little bit, but it's just so much better in other lanes, specifically mid, where you can just farm and farm and farm. In the bottom lane, you usually want to play auto attack AD carries like I think there was not AD Lulu, but an AP auto attack based Lulu, maybe with a Nashor's Tooth or something like that. And then kind of the same idea with Teemo. They both output consistent damage. It's just of a slightly different type. But oh, top lane Studio is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Will shun Poe away, but still very, very low. Now we've got the flash out from K1 Pro. Zenith Blade on in there from Kanighet. Will this be enough damage? Oh my gosh, Kanighet might die here. Does go down there in the very end, but oh, K1 looking like A1, which means that he's delicious on steaks. Yeah, we're going to leave that one where it is, and that is, of course, as a dead Annie in the bottom lane. That's quite unfortunate. Second kill of the game, but oh, Cubes, don't do it. Lulu's little dragon, and the flash in from Duosec. Nice job forcing out the flash from somewhere, from deep in the darkest night. Pat comes in from behind the turret just as sort of an insurance plan. He's like, all right, Duosec, if you got this, that's great. If you don't, he's there for backup. So backup from behind the turret. The Dark Kha'Zix comes in there. Top lane turret did go down. Studio is still trying to make these trades work out, but that just doesn't work. Now going in under the turret, you've got the Katarina ultimate spinning, not quite to win, but to go down, and that will be the 7th kill of the game coming out here for Cursed Academy. All right, while we get maybe some audio issues sorted out, I'll be lulling you to awesomeness with my dulcet tones. I'm a big fan of that phrase. I feel like dulcet tones need to be out there more often. I feel like Teemos in the bottom lane need to be not out there more often, and so Egad, I'll be wishing horrible, horrible things on as a Teemo, not as a person. Egad's great, but Teemo, on the other hand, has a few things in common with some of the most terrible, horrible things in life. And I don't know, maybe we're going to need like a tax evasion Teemo skin just so you can really exemplify the horrors of some of the problems with Teemo. Here we go, Cat. I get one last auto attack ticking down, but Mashpy's got the last auto attack. And I mean, while Egad still has somebody in his lane for moral support, he will actually eventually have to do something, which is maybe not what Teemos are. Not what I'd like to see Teemos do. Mr. Tibbers comes down to say hi, and that is going to be Pantheon. One dead jungler down there is bottom first tier turret will go down. I believe that's 2 turrets. Yeah, for Cursed Academy, and off that pressure bottom lane, they should just make a clean rotation here to Dragon. They could always just go through the Dragon, hit up mid lane, and see if they can push that one down next. But taking Dragon right now is really good because they don't have to worry about that presence from Ziploc Stoge's bottom lane. Back in the mid lane, the Hexplosive Minefield. There's actually going to be the all-in attempt with a giant growth there. Pantheon going to be jumping in. Cube's trying to stay alive for as long as he can. Is it going to be enough? The shield comes up, and it's just enough HP to prevent that crit from coming down with a Glitter Lance backwards. You just can't chase a Lulu. There's True Shot Barrage rather coming through. Will not go through Shot Barrage or pick up any kills. Just, I don't know, saying hi. It lit up the map and possibly the night as well. Big push coming in here, though, for Ziploc's Doges. They find an unguarded mid lane. They also are going to find, of course, an Akali coming in here that could pose an even bigger threat. Every time I see Curse Academy play, I sort of think of their LCS roster Curse, and then I see an Akali, and I'm like, wow, it's like Westrice playing Akali. And then I get all these sort of old school feels, because I remember when Westrice was on Curse, and oh my gosh, the feels, man. Those are some good times. But I also remember when Pobelter was on Curse, man. If you guys remember Pobelter's like top lane gangplank, that thing was a monster. But I digress. Pat will, I guess, depress the score there for the Jungle Pantheon. Egad, no, don't do it. It's not worth it. You're just a baby, Teemo. He does make it out alive. Mr. Tibbers coming down there to tank up the turret, but he will fall down. And a very, very lucky Pat will disengage with just the last couple hundred of his HP. So making it back out of there alive. And, oh, Glitter Lance's doubles coming back, and they will hit onto Leona and Ziggs. The bouncing bombs come out. Duosec does dodge them. And with another two-man Glitter Lance backwards, you just can't chase a Lulu. I feel like I'm going to have to say that a few more times before maybe, I don't know, Dan listens and sees it in the other room. But I think the big deal to watch out for right now is actually that Jungle Teemo has items, or Support Teemo has items. I keep saying Jungle Teemo because I've been watching this guy, I think it's Hienvo or Hikakushin, stream nothing but Diamond-ranked Jungle Teemo, and I'm just like, wow. If this works, then I can play just about anything. I think there was an AMA on Reddit from a guy named Mr. Oink, who plays nothing but AP Sejuani at a Diamond 1 level. Anything's possible, guys. We're going to have to see if Egad can make it possible. Good, sweet lord. How does he do it? Without even trying. Double kill, though, for Rux as he does go up there, and Egad will go ahead and speed himself out of that bush. Kenneget's just going to usher K1 Pro back away, and we'll have to see if that is a bottom lane that now is maybe swinging in favor of Egad and his sort of 80 carry Teemo, which is actually an AP carry Teemo. He's got double magic penetration items, so I guess that's effective. Usually you want to like rush a Leandries, and I guess he's on his way to that. So Lichbane, of course, another option, but probably with some of the recent nerfs, you won't really see that on Teemo, unless maybe it's like a 5th or 6th item if you're going like super, super aggro. Duosec will pick up a blue buff for himself. Studio will find a lane for himself, which is probably a little bit more rare than the blue buff. You actually notice that possibly Rux and Studio are going for the same build. Now, Gunblade Katarina is the stuff of legend. Probably not something you've seen for a while, just because A, you probably haven't seen Katarina in a while, and B, Gunblade Katarina was from way back in the day when you used to have things like possibly like a tank Katarina meta, although that was more just Warmogs and Sunfires when stacking health was a pretty cool thing to do. And while I guess it's still pretty cool, both of those items have taken a ton of nerfs since back in the days of like early Season 3 when that was kind of what you did, or at least what guys like Boy did. It's like Tank Katarina was not fun to watch. All right, we're going to see a ward jump, but you don't even need wards to jump as Akali. You just need champions. Bottom lane, though, we're going to see a man drop on in, and Mashme, oh, Mashme is going to try to run away here, but all we're looking for is Kenneget with a flash. He gets the stun and the kill. Kenneget going off on a Mashme. In the meantime, Arctic Monkey, the Jungle Pantheon, coming in and grabbing himself what I feel like is his, third kill of the game. So he's actually been picking up a fair amount. And, I mean, when your team has only 5 kills, 3 of them on one champion, it's going to make him pretty strong. Glitter Lance just to try to clear out the way, but you can already see that, Leona's got it taken care of. Kanighet kind of zoning out behind the turret, and that is actually going to be the first turret of the game for Ziploc's Doges. They're coming back. They've accumulated enough gold in their coffers to buy themselves maybe like a small entry-level Doge house, but oh man, they just have to keep making payments, but they're making it with checks that their bodies can't cash. Yeah, metaphors. How do they even? Pat will grab another kill onto Kanighet, and man, 17-5. Then you take a look at his score, and while Pantheon that true shot barrage though, just barely nicking EGAD. I don't actually think it even hit him, so close, but not close enough, because this is League of Legends, not League of Horseshoes. Jungle is in full breach, as you can see pretty much Curse Academy going where they please, even though there is no Dr. Mundo. They can still make that happen. Push in the mid lane as well. You can see Mashme's trying to get as much value as he can for those minion waves and getting this push on up there. Top lane kind of died a long time ago. The idea of the Kali is that you kill your turret and then you just never go back to top lane, ever. If you head back to top lane, then you're doing it wrong because you should be just running around the map killing everything. That's kind of a mixed blessing for Ziploc's Doge's studio. Was put very far behind early on, and so he wants a lane to just sit in and farm until he can be that big, pentakill Katarina that everybody's knows and loves, or knows and hates if you're the ones getting pentakilled. But either way, I don't know. I feel vaguely like the top lane is very decisive this game, but maybe not in the way that you expect. It's not like they have big tanky bruisers and it's super not exciting. They actually have super exciting assassins. They're just never ever going to be top lane anymore, with the exception of Studio, who's basically just like sitting at his turret, freezing the wave, and farming it up as much as he can. We are nearing a very important moment of the game, ladies and gentlemen. The 19-minute mark. Very close to the 20-minute mark where anything can happen. But the game actually hasn't been all that one-sided. We've seen kills on everything, or we've seen kills on, let's see, the Jungle Pantheon. All right, so Arctic Monkey is going to grab himself some. And then you've got kills on Kanighet, so Danan's really making it work down there. The only problem that I'm starting to see is that, there's this whole concept of a 4-1-5 Kha'Zix that seems to be fairly strong. You also have a, 5-0 Akali, which could also pose some strengths for your team. And now it's a jungle-on-jungle action as Arctic Monkey's going to try to look for something. There is a Teemo Shroom there, but is that going to be enough to stop this? No. Pops that Hex Drinker, and with a True Shot Barrage coming through once again, can't find those. They've been false shot barrages so far. Walking over wards, and this is the struggle of like being a commentator versus like being a player. It's like you can see the wards they walk over, they're just like, why don't you check right there? And they're just like, especially if it's Teemo, because he doesn't actually care where his wards are because he can put one out every 30 seconds, depending on cooldown reduction, of course. It's cool, as you would expect cooldown reduction to be, but other cool things include doing the Baron buff, and at very low health. All right, Curse Academy wisely will back away. Pretty sure that would have gone relatively apocalyptically badly for them. A lot of adverbs in there. Got to add my lees. But now we've got the counter engage off of the Baron. I feel like you're just too low to do anything here. It's a triple kill to already start things out as Mashme just going hard in the paint. We've got 2 kills though for Arctic Monkey, so Pantheon's still able to pick some up, but at what cost? That cost is of course going to be the Baron buff, which will once again off of a re-engage go to Curse Academy. Now we got blue buff being once again given over to Duosec. I feel like Duosec has done more taking of the blue buffs than he has done being given them. That didn't sound right, but he hasn't really been denied a whole lot of anything. Kills, CS, I don't know, roam opportunities. He's been pretty much making those plays all over the map. And just as a little bit of a spoiler alert, in about 3 minutes, some pretty cool stuff's going down. I have that on an expert opinion and or some very emphatic yells from the next room. So I'll have to keep that in mind if you guys want to keep a countdown for about 3 minutes from now. That is going to be about 23:20, something along those lines. It's going to be pretty good. I'll just put it that way. If you guys check out the Dragon and Baron timers, see for Ziploc Stoges and a 2-1 score there for Curse Academy for Dragon and Baron, respectively, of course. So, is there anything they cannot do? The answer is apparently push up the mid lane and try to end the game. It appears as if walking around over Teemo shrooms, checking for buffs, and setting up all this kind of nonsense is important or something. Also, usually the reason that, I don't know, I feel like sometimes people don't really, or people really underestimate the effectiveness of that. And so you gotta make sure to shout it out every once in a while. Shrooms down in the bottom lane will help clear out the wave just a little bit, but with so much focus from Ziploc Stoges at just keeping their lanes alive, keeping their turrets alive, they're really not out there making plays and are just generally going to get out-golded here. We've got Studio versus Duosec. A nice juke there away from that Glitter Lance, but something tells me it's the auto attacks that are really starting to hurt here for Duosec. Already having his Rabadon's death cap completed, and there's just like that's a whole death cap over. Where we do see Cubes the legend at right now. Mega Inferno Bomb comes down. Cubes goes down, but will the burn? Yes, it will. Cubes posthumously grabbing a kill for himself with the Ignite. I believe we actually got an assist there from Egad's Teemo. He was in the areas, fired away, but his lasers were not quite as strong as Annie's apparently. Didn't know Annie's had lasers, but you know what? We'll leave that question unanswered just yet. It will be first top lane inhibitor. Inhibitors are actually super easy to tank now. Like I tanked like 10 shots. Or not did I say inhibitors? I meant turrets. There we go. You just walk in there and just like, hey, that's not actually doing all that much damage. Now you're going to go out and back in, and there's a giant growth, but it's actually just enough to keep Kha'Zix alive. I don't know what they can do to even stop this Kha'Zix. Looks like the base in complete shambles. It's a triple kill for Mashby, his second of the game. Now there's Quadra out there, but can he find it onto Kanighet? Answer is probably going to be a no here, but he's looking for it. He's down there in the back. They're going to jump in on a Kanighet, but it does look like he makes it back to the base in time. No, the ace comes out from Duosec and dropping that turret aggro. Pat will take one down. We're looking to have the second one taken down as well, and there you go. 2 Nexus turrets down. It's the re-engage, though. We've got Studio right in the middle. He goes down with the man drop in. It's actually Egad in the back that's taken out Pat and apparently my vocal cords at the same time. But with a double kill there, it's nice to see that things are still going pretty well here for Curse Academy. They will finally close out the game. There's the barrier, and the Nexus will finally fall. Final score, of course, is 35-9 and 9-1 in turrets. That's that was a game, and a game very well played by Curse Academy, taking out Ziploc's female Doges, who I believe actually dropped to 1-3 on the season. So, actually 1-2. Yeah, so 2 defeats, both at the hands of Curse Academy. So maybe a little bit of an NACL rivalry forming there. We'll have to keep an eye on that as the games continue. But for us today, the games will actually continue as well. We've got, I believe, 4 more games coming up after this. So just 5 games, not 6. Next game, of course, will be Curse Academy, I believe, taking on VVV. So it's going to be a long day for them, but it's actually going to be, I don't know, a quick little restart for us on the stream. So you're going to see the stream go down, and then all your audio issues will magically float away. I promise. But stick around. We'll be right back with Curse Academy taking on VVV once we restart the stream and get the last day of NACL Season 2 coming back at you in just a minute.